In this episode, we're going to talk about doing boss rushes to farm XP in order to help build our prism. In addition, doing boss rushes gives you a lot more experience at fighting the individual bosses and learning when their attacks are and the correct timing for your dodges. So looking at our prism, what we have is a whole collection of fragments, and those fragments can be fed into your prism. And the fragments come in various levels, like level 2, 3, 4, and 5, 5 being mythic. You're going to want mythic fragments, and the only way you're going to get those are buying them from Dwell or getting them while you're playing a boss rush on Apocalypse. But you're not going to start out on Apocalypse, so you're going to have to set your game to Apocalypse and then go to Dwell and purchase the fragments for Relic Dust. When you start your prism building, you're going to have 5 empty slots, and you're going to feed fragments in, and when you get XP, you're going to upgrade your prism, and those slots will get filled with things. But you want them filled with mythic, because that fills the slot completely, the lower left. When you fill out your 5 slots, you're going to get 5 buffs, but some of the fragments will combine with other fragments to make fusions, and those fusions mean you're going to get 2 buffs for 1 slot. Once you decide on 3 fusions you'd like, you try to get mythics for all 6 fragments and feed them, but you have to know what color they are, so you go to Extra Life's fragments section and you can see the color red, blue, or yellow, and then you go to Dwell and purchase them. In order to build your prism, you're going to need tons and tons of experience points. So doing a 3 boss rush on Survivor, you're going to get 3,000 XP for each boss you kill, but you're going to get a 3,000 XP bonus if you complete it. If you plant the Thane fruit in the garden at Ward 13, you're going to get a one-time resurrection from being killed. And if you die a lot, you might want to put the black cat ring on that gives you a resurrection every 2 minutes. You may be able to increase your experience points by investing in Scholar or in Mudtooth's potion, and you use the Orb of Undoing to reset your points, and it can be used over and over again once you get it from Wallace. So here I'm just going to show you an example of how to do a 3 boss rush, and if you've never done one, you just go to the World Stone and then set your world settings to boss, and you're going to change it to whatever you want. So you're going to change it to 3 triple threat and let's say Survivor, because you're going to start off just to see how it is. Usually near the beginning area where you drop down, you're going to get this buff lever, and you're going to have a choice of 3 items, and you're going to pick the one that you like the best. I have a mod build, so I'm using the Nebula with its orbs to take out the mobs, but if you don't, then I would use Enigma to take out the mobs. In the first phase, you're going to have to take out a whole bunch of low-level enemies, and then you're going to get some elites, and then you're going to get one aberration, and you're going to have to take out the aberration and enough of the low-level enemies before you can go through that red door. It's red because you can't go through it yet. When it turns yellow, you're going to be able to go through it and go to the boss. So Atrophy is the aberration, and I half killed him, and then he spawned on the other side. I kill him, and now the door will be yellow, and I can go through. After going through the door, you're going to have a little respite from being attacked by enemies, and you can set up doing whatever you need to do while you're there before you go in to see the boss. The attacks the bosses do are always going to be the same. They might come in different orders, but they're going to be very similar, and this is where you can learn how to deal with them easily, because you've done them a dozen times, or 100 times. So in the pre-boss fight area, you're going to always find a buff bar and a loot chest. If you go looking for them, you're going to find them, but if you go back to look for them later because you didn't find them early enough, they will respawn low-level enemies. You'll only have to fight the aberration 1 time, however. And if you have the DLCs, they'll add the DLC bosses to your boss fight. So here you have the Sunken Witch, which is a DLC boss. So when you get the experience points to upgrade your prism, it has to be the prism that you're using at the time you're playing. If you die, then the prism that you were using is going to get the experience points for however many bosses you completed. You're not going to get any experience points if you don't complete one boss. If you're doing the 7 boss rush on Trial by Fire, then you're going to get a simulacrum in addition for completing it. And the completion in the Survivor is only 3,000 out of 9,000 for the bosses, but the completion bonus XP in Trial by Fire is almost 50%. And the last boss that you're going to fight in Trial by Fire 7 boss rush is going to be Annihilation. If you are feeling pretty confident, you can start off doing a 7 boss rush with a higher level prism that you have while you're trying to upgrade a lower one, and switch over to the lower one just to do Annihilation, and you will get all of the XP in that prism you're trying to upgrade. I find that some of the bosses in general are harder than other ones, and in addition to that, if they have something like Vicious and Thick Skin on, they're going to take a lot more damage, and they're going to attack you with Vicious a lot more often. If you're using bullets, you better be taking some bullet boxes with you, because you're going to be adding bullets to your repertoire often. Sometimes the loot chests have bullet boxes in them, and they have relics in them also. So here I was using one of my best prisms, and then I'm trying to upgrade a lower prism. So I'm switching to my lower prism before I fight Annihilation, the 7th boss in a 7th boss rush. And I'm going to get the experience points even if I die for my lower level prism. Don't start shooting until he shows up, and then wait for it. There'll be the first attack down on you, and I didn't dodge fast enough and got hit. As soon as the red balls show up, shoot those, because they'll come in and aimbot you. It's always best to track him, because then you can tell when the strikes are going to come. If you're running off and he gets flying off to someplace and you don't know where he is, then you get attacked without being able to see it coming. After finishing them off in the first phase, you're going to go immediately into the second phase, and you're going to get struck almost immediately. This is going to be a strike down and then a slide in the direction that you are at, so you can see it coming. When he does the downward strike on the side, he delays before he swipes across, and it's best to roll in the direction that the swipe is coming from. If you watch my health bar, you can see I'm getting hit a fair amount of times, but I'm not taking a whole lot of damage. My damage reduction is probably close to 60%, and my health is probably at 150, 160 with all the buffs from the buff bars. In addition to that, I buff up explosive damage because I'm doing an explosive damage build and a mod build. In addition, you can see my health bar goes back up rather quickly because I have a lot of health regen. The only reason I can survive this Annihilation attempt on Nightmare is because that I've done it a whole bunch of times, and I kind of am somewhat okay at doing dodging and avoiding a majority of the damage. In addition, I have the low level prism on here, so you don't need a high level prism in order to do this. Dodging, if you can do a no-hit run, you can survive anything in this game. Creating a great prism is a crapshoot. I'm going to tell you, it's not easy, and it's a complete grind. You're going to spend dozens of hours doing boss rushes to get enough XP to upgrade your prism to level 51, And all along the way, it's a crapshoot as to whether the items that you're going to get to pick, they're going to give you 3 options when you upgrade the Prism at another level. And are those 3 options the ones that are located in the roll chances? You got, you know, like here you got 4 roll chances that are completely filled, and yet I'll get 3 options that don't include any of those. How disappointing. Then when you get to level 50 and you go upgrade to 51, you're going to have a choice of getting a bonus, a legendary Prism buff. And that legendary Prism buff may have nothing to do with all of the items that you have in your slots and all the fusions that you have. So it's not easy to get what you want out of the Prism system. And it's unfortunate that the devs didn't make it so you could choose. So in this instance, I get up to level 51, and the only option I have that I think is decent is Heavy Drinker. But I don't see how it has anything to do with the stuff above, except that you can get up to 6 one-hour concoctions on board at the same time. So who wouldn't love that? I can get plus 20 health, plus 30 armor, plus 10% movement speed, plus 10% mod gen, plus 20 stamina. On my other Prism, I got Speed Demon, and when I looked at it, it's like it was the best choice, and I thought, but you know what? I don't really care about going that fast. Boy, was I wrong. Speed Demon changed my world. With Speed Demon on, I can run past everybody, launch Nebula, let the orbs kill them all, and they don't hit me when I'm running by. Just watch this. After you get your Prism to level 50 and you give it a little more XP, it'll go to level 51, and then you'll get 3 options for legendary buffs. And the legendary buffs probably aren't going to be what you want. If you get lucky, you're going to get something great like Wrecking Ball or Jack of all trades. But there's a whole bunch that are just crap. Out of the 42 possible legendaries, there's only about 14 of them that I think would be handy. If you go to Frextra Life's list of all legendary bonuses, you can print it out, copy and paste it onto a Word doc, print it out, and then just read each one of them and see which ones sound like they'd be good for you, and then make a list, just mark a little star next to them, and then when your bonuses come up, you'll have an idea of which ones are going to be the ones you want, and which ones, if there's 1 out of 3 that seems better than the other 2, you pick that one. So I hope this video has helped explain some of the aspects of building a Prism and how you go about it, and having fun playing boss rushes.